Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Well, I'm out here once again working on the 1970 Dodge Super Bee. In the last episode, you guys saw we got basically everything finished up on this car to take it to the Holley Moparty event, which, by the way, is 1 week from tomorrow. And I've got a lot of issues, specifically with the engine. Everything else is good to go. The clutch is great, the brakes are great, the interior is done, everything is done. And as you guys watched in the last episode, I went to go get this thing tuned and had a whole bunch of issues, mainly a big misfire that is making this engine very unhappy. It's currently running on most likely 4, maybe even 3 cylinders. And you know, I started it for you guys a few episodes ago. It was open headers. I thought it sounded great, super choppy. A lot of that, I think, because only 1/3 of the cylinders are running on this car. So yeah, I posted that video with like a desperate plea for help, really an emergency SOS call from everyone to throw some ideas out, some recommendations for things, or frankly, parts to throw at this car in the next few days to hopefully fix this thing, man. I want to beat the hell out of it. I want to enjoy it. I want a lot of you guys to see it. And we're going to be taking quite a bit of action here over the next few days in hopes to be able to bring it to Bowling Green and, like I said, drive the living hell out of this car. But in the last episode, you guys, I started digging into this. You know, I obviously, with it being a misfire, check the spark plugs first. They're blacker than shit, okay? They're completely covered in like a black soot. I'll throw up that photo again so you guys can see it. But started there, changed out the plugs. I changed the MSD coil packs out of it. I did kind of pin out and look at all of the wiring on the entire engine. Everything is right. It's plugged in where it should be. And that led me down the road of replacing the coil drivers, which thankfully I reached out to my friends over at Holley. They are sending me a fresh set, a pair of coil drivers for this thing, as well as an external 1-bar map sensor, because that could also cause some of the misfire issues we have. Next one, fuel pressure. A lot of people are saying that. I did blurt out that I have this set right now at 43 PSI, which I do. Don't quite know how or why I got there, with the exception that when you're trying to program this thing with the little handheld that it comes with, it gives you the option 43 or 60. I think I typed a quick little thing into Google. I saw 43 and I said, yep, it's got to be 43. So first and easiest thing we're going to do is go ahead and bump up that fuel pressure. The thought there is that if it's coming in at too low of a pressure, either the injectors are not opening or the fuel's not completely atomizing, which could basically fill the cylinders with fuel and yeah, result in kind of the massive flooding issues or the falling out issues that we're seeing. So my man T-Bone here, he's going to help me get the fuel pressure adjusted real quick. We'll get that done. The second thing here, went ahead and bought some starting fluid along with a nice little fine straw. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to probably empty out a can of starting fluid on this engine in hopes to try to find a vacuum leak. You know, of course, I'm not going to douse the entire thing all at once, but we're going to check all of our connections, try to pinpoint it down. You know, and really at this point, guys, I'm trying to just rule out some things, right? So we ruled out the plugs, the coils, a lot of the wiring. Hope to rule out the coil drivers, or maybe that's a quick and easy fix and it's just that. But really, with so much of the engine being new, that really at this point, a new part has to have failed, okay? And, you know, a lot of you guys threw some suggestions out with things to fix. A lot of you guys also recommended that I actually just burn the car or throw it away or take it to a tuner on the complete opposite side of the country. Maybe one of those things might happen. We might actually burn the car if this does not fix it. You know, obviously I'm kidding, but I don't plan on taking it anywhere, guys. I want to fix this thing myself. And again, I think we're, you know, one part or one issue is really making this thing not happy. And hopefully we can figure that out right now. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll flash up some comments, you guys, show you kind of what we're thinking, what I'm going to try to do, and hopefully one of them fixes it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so real quick to rule a couple things out, I've got a couple questions about asking if I still have the car on open headers. So no, I don't. I do have the TTI headers on the car and then kind of off camera just because frankly I was kind of scrambling, trying to figure out why the thing was not running right. I did go ahead and put the pipes mufflers on there. Everything is tight. I've already verified that. We can rule that out with that creating issues with the O2 sensor and throwing some things off. So go ahead and jump to number 2. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of people saying that 58 PSI fuel pressure really should be what the car is set at, definitely not 43. So let's go ahead. I can actually just fire it up with the ECU, go ahead and adjust that, see it on the screen in real time, and fix our fuel pressure and try to fire this thing up. Forward one. Okay, go ahead and turn it on. If I tell you to turn it off, okay? Go ahead. So you can see here the fuel pressure, 58 psi now, great oil pressure. See what our vacuum's at. Yeah, about 9 or 10, not good. You guys can see here too, this volumetric efficiency circle right there is kind of bouncing around a whole bunch as well, so not really staying on one spot for too long. Go ahead and kill it. All right, so fuel pressure, not a smoking gun. Definitely an issue I think that could have exacerbated things or made things a whole lot worse, whether it be now or definitely down the future. So that's out, but the good thing is it's right now, so we can kind of build from there and we can rule that out. Now, what I think I'm gonna have T-Bone do here is fire this car right back up, and we're gonna get out the starting fluid and hopefully try to find a vacuum leak. Like I said, using the straw, I can kind of pinpoint some different areas, you know, targeting all the gasket areas here. So the throttle body gasket, basically everywhere from the throttle body back, especially this base plate down here. I want to kind of work inside, outside. Right here, there's a rope seal around the top of the intake, as well as back here, I've got my map sensor. I've got kind of a plug right now that's just filled really with the stock map sensor there. I could definitely use to put a plug in that, but there's nothing open, at least that I'm aware of. And then the last thing here is the brake booster, which could cause an issue, but I hooked up the brake booster after I already had this thing going on. But nonetheless, we can go ahead, spray around that as well. And hopefully we can find an area where the idle RPM starts climbing, right? To indicate that we have a vacuum leak, which would be hopefully a super easy fix. Maybe tighten a bolt, maybe a gasket. Either way, should hopefully be a vacuum leak, would be really nice. Okay, fired up, T-Bone, let's go. Rip it. Look at the smile on that kid's face. All right, let's start spraying. All right, well, I made my way around the motor. I mean, I didn't really find anything loose, with the exception of that catch can, the big 15/16 line that kind of goes in between the intake on the other side. Now, kind of just spraying in this general vicinity. Don't know if it was coming from the fitting or possibly underneath, or even underneath of the nuts there on top of the intake. But either way, kind of went around, snugged everything, got just a little bit on everything else, and see if it made a difference. Fortunately, my man T-Bone bailed on me. Brownie night inside, so of course you'd rather be in there than out here with Dad. So let's go ahead and fire it up. Tell you what, the sound of that 58 PSI prime is a whole lot different than what the 43 was. It sounds a lot different. All right, it's fired up. Leak underneath this driver's side. Listen to this. Oh yeah. Okay, well, we learned a few things. Number one, it takes about a half a can for you to start feeling a little bit buzzed from starting fluid. But number two, we definitely have some vacuum leaks. So that means the entire intake is gonna have to come off, which probably sounds a little bit worse than what it really is. I mean, thankfully all the Holley connectors and stuff, we can pop those off. We take off the fuel feed line and map sensor, brake booster, things pretty much just pop right off at that point. So you guys did see I did spray the brake booster, didn't really get anything there. Primarily between like where the ports are on the cylinder head, it is definitely leaking. So yeah, and on this side right here, really kind of around where this oil fill cap is, but same thing really between 1 and 3 on this side. So all right, well, go ahead, start disconnecting stuff. Let's get this intake off and see if maybe there's like a rolled seal or something like that underneath. So let's get this off and have a look. So I did already dump 3/4 of a can of starting fluid on it.
Yeah.
Can't feel my face.
That's good.
All nuts accounted for?
All mine are.
Okay. Oh, dripping fuel. All right, well, nothing super obvious, I guess. Looking here at the bottom side, I mean, all the seals are intact. You can see a little bit of junk, I guess, on the insides on some of these. But nothing rolled off, nothing folded over, nothing split, nothing crazy. I want to say fortunately or unfortunately, but either way, definitely no smoking guns here. Same with this side. Got a whole bunch of gas that I leaked down in there. That's not good. Well, as you guys can see, we are pressing that cheat code button and we're going to try some RTV sealing around here. Nothing super obvious whatsoever, no rolled seals, nothing crazy like that. So, however, we are getting a little bit crazy with the RTV. Because if this works, that would be absolutely awesome. You got, oh fuck, that's heavy.
I got this side.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm on, ready?
Yep.
Down. Oh yeah, look at that squeeze. Okay, torque it up. Alright you guys, well it's the next day out here and our sealant has cured. Now quick disclaimer, it's obviously not the right way to fix this, okay? By putting the RTV on there, all that I did was further delay dealing with the actual issue itself, and that is finding out why I have poor fitment between the intake and the heads. Now maybe the heads are warped, maybe the casting on the intake's warped, or maybe I just got a bad batch of seals. I don't know. The problem is that the O-rings are not like super squishy, okay? They don't stick out very far, so you really need like a very nice flat surface for those to be able to form a really tight seal with, and for whatever reason I just don't seem to have that. And you know, the 1/4-20 bolts that are on here are roughly that size. I do not want to torque them any more than I already did. They're cinched down pretty hard, and you guys can see here, I mean, I got a good squish of the sealant out all the way around the entire thing, and you know, I guess it's not stupid if it works, right? It'll be really stupid if it leaks even worse now than what it did before. But if that doesn't work, thankfully my friends over at Holley called them yesterday in a panic. They immediately rushed out the parts that we need, that I hope to God between these three hopefully squares this thing away. Okay, so, and I'm very tempted to just throw them all on and check it out right now, but I want to see what the issue is, like a lot of you guys, what actually caused my issues that I'm having. So I'm gonna get the laptop fired up here in just a second, and then we'll go ahead and try it, see if we build any more vacuum than what we were before. If that doesn't work, we'll go to the map sensor. If that doesn't work, the coil drivers. And if that doesn't work, I have a gas can. We're gonna set the car on fire. No, I'm kidding, obviously, but I don't know what else to do. So I guess I'll keep scrolling down the comments and see if you guys have any other suggestions. But I really hope that between these three things, we get it nailed down. So we'll get the laptop going, and man, cross my fingers, the vacuum leaks are actually fixed. Unfortunately, we're not building any more vacuum. Still less than 10. Damn, still less than 10 inches of vacuum. On a positive note though, I did empty the last of that starting fluid on the intake where I had the leaks, and I don't have any leaks anymore, so that's a good thing. Before, you guys saw I could almost damn near stall out the engine spraying around that thing. So at least that's fixed, and maybe it was robbing some power, maybe it was leading to some other issues. And really, in all honesty, I should probably change the plugs out even again now, or at least maybe pull a couple out and see how they look. But man, time to start throwing some parts at this thing. Okay, and the first one we're gonna do is the map sensor 538-24. It is the Holley 1-bar map. And the good thing is that the Holley harness already has a connector for this. So, you know, I am currently using the internal map sensor that's on the actual ECU itself. And so this would be a little bit different. Unfortunately, it's not gonna mount on my intake like what I was hoping. So we'll go ahead and plug it in here. And then I think I'll just disconnect my vacuum line that's connected into the ECU and just go ahead and plug it in right here. And I guess at a later date, either I can store this in the car or I can store it on the firewall. I've seen it done a few different ways, but we have a few different options for mounting this. So we'll go ahead and get it plugged in and start it up again. All right, well, that took all of about 2 seconds. I know it's probably tough to see, but that little thing right there hanging down there, that is map sensor plugged into the harness and then also hooked into the vacuum line that I actually have running right here to the back of the intake. Now, whenever you're changing sensors on the Terminator X stuff, you have to also update the software, upload that to the ECU, and most likely cycle the key here. So you guys can see, map sensor, I've got that changed over to 538-24. Don't turn it on, T-Bone. Jesus. He's ready to get this thing started. So we'll go ahead, send that info to the ECU. Okay, turn the power off, all the way off. Turn it, click it forward just a little bit. Click it forward one more time. Just 1 second, bud. We're gonna hop back over here to our, oh, look at that. Now these ranges changed a little bit, but that's already reading down here at 16 pounds of vacuum. or at least the sensor is way different. Before, when we went to go start it, guys, remember it was all the way up here in the top. So, all right, brother, it's not in gear, right? We've done that before. Okay, go ahead and start it. Whoa! Is that really making 17 pounds of vacuum now? Alrighty guys, so it's been a few hours since that last clip that you guys just saw, and the reason being, we've got some big problems. Maybe even bigger problems, maybe related to the first bit of problems, but we got some problems. And I've spent the last few hours here on the phone with my tuner, and yeah, to go back to a comment that I said maybe 30 seconds ago or so, the car was making, or at least showing, 17 inches of vacuum without the car running. At the time, all that I cared about was that the little football thing was in a different place on my volumetric efficiency chart than what it was previously, which was, you know, way high on the chart. So I was pretty excited there and didn't quite equate to what I was saying, and it didn't really make sense. But yeah, the car is now incorrectly reading vacuum, or at least showing vacuum. And now as I start the car, you know, the football thing that's on here that tracks the volumetric efficiency is only responding to RPM, and now it's not showing that I'm building any vacuum on the chart. So of course now that leads me down the rabbit hole of maybe I got a bad map sensor, right? Because the easy telltale here with that is that the barometric pressure on here, you guys can see 88 kPa, which is a little bit high, but it's to be expected because I am at 4,500 feet or so altitude here in Utah. But your baro pressure should also match your map pressure. And as if you guys can't see that, baro's 88, my map pressure is 25 kPa, which is not right, okay? Even when I was using the internal 1-bar map sensor there, you know, it still was within like 1 kPa of each other, but now that I'm using this external map with the plug, and I have the right one selected in the software, now it's showing 50 kPa difference. And it's actually not responding whatsoever to any vacuum. And moment after I kind of peeked in the car there, I had T-Bone hop out, I hit the gas, and the gauge was just locked at 17 inches of vacuum. So we got some big issues. The good thing is that they actually sell these map sensors at your O'Reilly's or AutoZone, and they're nothing more than like a mid-90s GM vehicle map sensor, 1-bar map sensor. So I was able to swap it out, put a new one in, same exact thing. And that led me then down the rabbit hole of reviewing the schematic and pinning everything out. And I learned that, you know, it's a 3-wire connection on the actual Holley harness. You've got your ground wire, signal wire, and a voltage feed wire, which basically between your voltage and your ground, you're supposed to read 5 volts. I am getting 5 volts between those two wires, but there is 0 sensor output happening from the map sensor through the harness to the ECU and to the gauges. I mean, you can literally blow in the vacuum tube to the map sensor, which should be able to adjust, or if you suck on the tube, you should be able to see it moving around, especially here on my VE chart, and it's just dead locked at 17 inches of vacuum. So we got bigger issues. Speaking with the gentleman I'm using for the tune, you know, he's seen bad ECUs before. He has seen bad harnesses before, and that's kind of where we're at with this. I mean, now I've really used 3 different map sensors, the internal, the Holley one, and then, you know, the generic O'Reilly's version of the map sensor, and all of them have been basically, well, the internal one showed a little bit different, but the 2 external ones both are bad. They're not responding whatsoever here. The pinout's correct on the harness. That I really think at this point, guys, I think we have a bad ECU. If you have any tips, any suggestions, and no, I'm not taking the car across the country to a tuner that's in Florida, and no, I'm not setting the car on fire quite yet, and no, I'm not taking it to random shops or whatever, right? If you guys have any suggestions, shoot me a message on Instagram, throw a comment below of what you guys think the issue is, but I really think that we're just kind of digging further and further and further back, and maybe a bad ECU or a bad harness explains the misfire issue that we also have too. So first thing tomorrow morning, tomorrow's Thursday. This video will come out Thursday. I will also get on the phone with my friends over at Holley and beg and plead for them to overnight me a new ECU and a new harness, and I hope to God they help me out. So, and once again, guys, I know a lot of you guys are saying, you know, throw it on a trailer and bring it out to Holley Moparty. Man, it doesn't excite me to make other people work on this thing at an event like that, or really to spend the weekend really working on this thing while we're there. So it kind of just entirely bums me out. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, guys, I'm all ears. Of course, I'm going to keep you updated every step of the process. If I'm able to get a hold of them tomorrow and get things coming this way, hopefully we can have that ECU and harness here Friday to swap out. We're just going to pull everything out, start over fresh, rewire the thing, which thankfully is fairly plug and play. And I've had it in and out a few times now, so we're getting pretty damn good at it. But we're going to swap it all out and pray to 6 pound, 8 ounce sweet baby Jesus that this thing is actually you know, nailed down to one of those two things. And if it's not one of those two things, let's not even consider that. But okay, guys, I won't ramble on, but throw your suggestions below what you guys think it is, and I promise I'll keep you up to date, and we're gonna get this thing fixed, and again, hopefully one day, eventually, maybe hopefully in the next week, drive the hell out of this thing. So till next time, guys, take care. See you soon.